It's Burns night, and we're gonna celebrate away. All right, let's see. Burns night, Burns night. All right, let's see. All right, we are live. We are live. Yes, my beautiful laddies and lassies, it is Burns night, and I've got quite the feast to have with you. Got cockaliki soup, which I got from someone I love. It's a traditional soup for Burns Day. It's got carrots, leeks, celery, chicken, prunes, thyme, and parsley. Dearest Lord, thanks for the people who will come into here, and thanks for the food that you grant me. Thanks for Burns and his inspiration. Jesus, no man. All right, prunes. Prunes are quite good for the fiber. Mmm. Mmm. Cockaliki soup, eh? Oh, that just fills the heart. That just fills the heart. Doesn't that just fill the heart? The cockaliki soup just filling the heart. Oh, man. I was out in the cold there earlier. Out in the cold. So it's so good to have this. In fact, I was carrying something else, but then the hot sauce dropped in, but because it was in a plastic bag, it became like a hand warmer. I tell you, the weather's been pretty severe these past few days here in Scotland. There was literally a storm very recently. Ah, there you go, Mark Macritchie. Hey, yeah, I'm enjoying the soup. Thank you very much. Yes, loving the soup, loving it. We're going to be reading Burns poetry at some point, but we're going to talk about the soup. We're going to have a bunny time. How's Burns Day for you? I heard that you had quite the party with the community. No doubt there'll be lots of people going out for their nights out, having their custom whiskey, or for some other people, whiskey mixed with Coke. Some people might say they're cowards. Others might say, well, I mean, maybe better safe than sorry, I guess. Who knows what's in the soup? Any guesses? I already told them it's got carrots, leeks, celery, chicken, prunes, thyme, and parsley. Unless there's some kind of secret ingredient, I guess. This is really good soup. It's not often I have prunes, to be honest. Very cozy. You need cozy soups in the winter up here. Just spreading the love around, spreading the love around. I'll get back to you in a moment. It's hard to concentrate on multiple things at once. There we go. Ah, yes. Hello, Mad Cat Lon. Welcome to the live stream. I got some cockaliki soup. In fact, here's a game. Do you want to know what's in the cockaliki soup? I'm assuming you've only just jumped in. So feel free to take a gander at what's going to be in the cockaliki soup. What do you want? That kind of warmth is a good combination with that chicken and those prunes. Something about that specific combination. It just speaks of the coziness. You have no idea what's within this. Oh, come on, take a gander. Take a gander. It's not as if I said it already in the live stream. Tell you what, I'll give you a closer look. All right. Hopefully it doesn't overspell, but okay, here we go. Chicken. Yes. It's called cockaliki soup. So yeah, there's the major hint. It's chicken, and there is chicken in there. Oh, this is so good. Leeks. Yep. Leeks. me and my family would used to have this game where we'd say to each other, "What's in the soup?" and we take it in turn, or "What's in the dinner?" We take it in turns to mention the ingredients one at a time. Water. Ah, water. Whiskey. You know, maybe there is burned up whiskey. I should have brought whiskey and Coke, honestly. But what I do have is some nice ginger and turmeric tea. I honestly should have got myself organized to get whiskey and Coke, but hey, I'm all the more sober to talk to you all. Speaking of ginger, I've been getting these from a local health shop, and it just happens to advertise the Mufasa movie. You know, that really awful live action movie that I was talking about a few weeks ago. They thought they could compete with Sonic 3. Like, I'm sorry, I love Mighty Ginger Shot and I do like the silhouette imagery, but that is not going to compete with the lines of toys you'll find advertising Sonic 3. Happy Burns Day. Yeah, happy Burns Night. Go be with us all. The platform of YouTube cannot handle drink. You've only seen a small taste of my power. I cannot unleash all of it online. You know, that mighty chili and ginger shot I just had there, it reminds me of the way that whiskey burns through the throat. Yeah. So I guess it's close enough. Although you're never going to guess what was another key ingredient in this carrot soup. Since I know you're not going to get it, Mad Catlaw, I might as well reveal it to you. Prunes. Prunes are a major ingredient in this traditional Burns Day soup. Well, it's Burns Night now, but still. You would not expect something of a... Yeah, prunes. You wouldn't really expect something of a fruity nature to go along with the fruit, but you'd be surprised at how well certain foods can go with savory dishes. Is a prune even a fruit, or is it another type of vegetable? Maybe it's a very sweet vegetable. What other kind of fruit would go really well with... I suppose you could, some kinds of oranges could go well with whiskeys. Or something of that caliber. You ever tried to make alcohol at home? Well, I have made mulled wine. In 2023... I put way too many cloves into the mulled wine. So my family definitely got the very strong taste. Yeah, but I drank it just fine because I have a strong sense of taste. This year, well, no, not this year. 2024, I was able to get it right. I had to give it to a friend and he liked it. So I succeeded. These things happen. So I seem to be getting better at it. Though to make alcohol from scratch, you'd have to like get professional, like, I don't know, squash, step on grapes or something. Then you have to wait for who knows how long for them to like boil, to chemicalize up in a certain way. I'm currently 2 months in with some red wine from it. Oh, you make alcohol? Oh, is that why you asked? All right. That's very fascinating. Kudos to you, man. Especially if it's red wine. Red wine is very good for your health and your blood and stuff like that. Then aging. Right. Fermenting, then aging. Right. Gosh, that must be... quite the humble thing to make wine for yourself and to other people. You must work at some wine place. Process by elimination. All right, now on to the main course. Haggis, neeps, and tatties, which I've added in some chili salmon to because I care about omega-3. In fact, whilst it's Burns night, I might as well recite the chieftain of the pudding race. To a haggis poem. To a haggis poem by Robbie Burns. Just see if I can find it. Address to a haggis. All right. Fair fire on a sonsy face, great chieftain of the pudding race. Aboon them, I take your place. Peach, tripe, or term. Weel are ye word of a grace, as long's my arm. The groaning trencher there you feel, your hurdles like a distant hill, your pin wad help amend a mill. In time o' need, while through your pores the dews distill like amber bead. His knife sees rustic labour digged, and cut ye up with all ready sight. Slight, rather. Up with your ready slight. I'm not used to speaking Scots. Trenching your gushing entrails bright, like ony ditch. And then, oh, what a glorious sight. Warm, reeking, rich. Then horn for horn, they stretch and strive. They'll take the hindmost on the drive. Till their wheels, swallowed kites, belve, are bent like drums. Then all good men must like to rive. Bethicant hums. If there that Orus is French ragout, or olio that would stow sorry. Oh, pardon me. Or fricka, I fart midway through. Or fricassee wad mac her spew with perfect scorner. Looks down with sneering scornful view on sick a dinner. What devil see him over these trash, as freckless as a withered rash. His spindle shank a good whip lash. His knave a knit, throw broody flood or field to dash. Oh, how unfit! But mark the rustic haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread. Clap on in his wely knave a blade, he'll make it a whistle, and legs and arms and heads will sned, like taps or thistle. Ye powers will make mankind your care, and dish them out the bill of fare. Old Scotland once nae sinking ware, then jumps and luggies, but if you wish your grateful player, give her a haggis. There we go. I understand the fate that you're telling accent, but not. All right, there we go. I've successfully read to a haggis. Well, mostly. Now I can eat the haggis. I'll give you the link to what I just read and see if you can read it yourself. You know, there's this one brilliant joke in Disney Pixar's Brave where, you know, you have John Ratzenberger, who usually portrays one side character of some kind in every Pixar film. And there's this one character he portrays in Brave where his traditional Scots way of speaking is so thick that none of the other characters can make out what he's saying whatsoever. It's so funny. Kudos to John for even giving that a go. Here's the thing, even other Scottish people are having a difficult time learning traditional Scots. If you want to learn traditional Scots in a fun way, I'd recommend reading the Bruins and Ur Willie. Those comics are quite fun. They're kind of similar to the Beano. Something wild about salmon mixed with haggis. With the chili. Arl. No idea what you mean by that. ALR. Maybe that's another internet. What do you call? I forgot what they're called. Calum, you silly cookie. What were they called again? An acronym. Yes, acronyms. Goes to show my line of thinking. Well, at least I am educated, I guess. Abbreviation for all right. Ah, okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not always familiar with these terms, so thank you for filling me in. Ah, the ideal northern meal. Keep you cozy, keep you nutritious. A savory deal that is very nutritious. How about that? I mean, look at that. This is the stuff worth living for, eh? I guess neat from tatties with salmon pudding. Worth the stuff. Anyway, we're building up an audience. Let's see if we can read another Burns poem, or at least maybe die trying. Burns poems list. Let's see. The BBC website. Pan Macmillan, our favorite Robert Burns poems. Let's see. Which one should I attempt to read? The Selkirk Grace. Oh, yeah. The Selkirk Grace. This is quite a short and simple one. It's a prayer. The Selkirk Grace is a well-known Thanksgiving poem said before meals. It is usually said after guests have sat down to enjoy a Burns night supper, before the first course is served. Selkirk Grace. Some hae meat and canny eat, and some wad eat that want it. But we ate meat, and we can eat, say let the Lord be thanked. There we go. That's the Selkirk Grace. Yippee. Oh, on a random note, can I play through that? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Gosh, I've been so busy with all these other projects I have to do with all these other people. I forgot I got that organized. I do have that downloaded, so one of these days I'll make a live stream of that game. Can she? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Yeah, can she? Yeah, I've got the game. I've got it downloaded. I'll play that at some point. Anyway, what else can we read? I've already read Address to Haggis. You already know Old Lang Syne. That's what we sing every year during New Year's Eve. Now think about that. Of all the things to traditionally sing for bringing in the new year, it happens to be a Scottish tune. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? I suppose it's the new year now. Should old acquaintance be forgot and old lang syne? Oh, they just sing Old Lang Syne. So that's what the fourth lyric was. For Old Lang Syne, my dear, for Old Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for Old Lang Syne. Nice. And surely you'll be a pint stoup, and surely I'll be mine. And we'll take a cup of kindness yet for Old Lang Syne. We hunt about the brazen pod, the gowin's fine. Gown's a type of tree, but we've wandered mony where he fits in Old Lang Syne. Bliss! We twa paddled in the burn frae morning sun till dine, but seas between us braid hae brought us in Old Lang Syne. And there's a hand, my trusty fair, and gaze a hand o' thine. We'll take a right guild willie what for Old Lang Syne. For Old Lang Syne, my dear, for Old Lang Syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for Old Lang Syne. You know, when they get into the circle, they shake their hands like that and then go back and forth. So, there's also Red Rose here. But in order to read a Red Rose, I need to eat my red salmon. What can I say? I love my omega-3. I like having the proper facilities to think, you know? It helps. Besides, How else am I going to live up to my channel name? I'm a fisher of man, after all. Okay, there's a wee thing there. Anyway. So, where is it that you live and what do you do for the Burns night? Obviously, it's not as flamboyant here. You know, something odd I've noticed, with the exception of like schools or certain communities who like have gatherings to celebrate Burns night, people don't really go spreading the word that, hey, this is Burns night, not to the same capacity as, say, like the Chinese New Year. Or stuff like that. I always found that odd from year to year. Like, I'm minding my business, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's Burns night. It's just one of those days that just kind of comes all of a sudden with no prior warning. I'm loving this. I am loving this. What did you have for dinner? Feel free to let me know. Have any of you ever had something akin to haggis, neeps, and tatties? I'm in Sicily. My neighborhood used to celebrate it. All right. I can imagine why they don't do it anymore. Kind of just went out of fashion, and people just got on with other things, and then all of a sudden they have remembered, oh, wait, it's Burns night. Doesn't surprise me. So, seeing how you used to celebrate that, you would have had haggis, neeps, and tatties at some point. That's just the signature Scottish dish. I mean, that's the most famous one, but obviously there are other signature Scottish dishes like cock-a-leekie soup, traditional for Burns Day. There's the cranachan, which is a traditional Scottish pudding, which basically has raspberries in a nice whiskey and cream kind of thing. It's very nice, especially in those nice restaurants. What else? Well, I suppose there is our fresh water. Being up north, Scotland has some of the freshest water you'll get in the world. I mean, I like going to places like England, but the water, it just pales in comparison to the freshness of up here. Right from the mountain spring. Right, I'm going to finish up this last piece of salmon. And then I'm going to read A Red, Red Rose to all you hopeless romantics out there. You know, I might have one of those watching this, maybe. Or maybe later. You never know. Just give me a moment. I'm just enjoying my dinner. It'd be kind of rude to just talk and eat at the same time, what I'm doing right now. Anyway. Don't worry, I'm not going to do the seafood gag from Flushed Away. Don't worry. Unless you already saw the food in my mouth. Seafood. I saw seafood. Fun fact. We associate the taste of chlorine with freshness. Yeah, I can see why. Because chlorine cleans out all the bacteria in pools. So, making it fresh. Yeah, I can understand that. That makes sense. Pardon me. Man, oh man, alive. All right. I'm ready to read A Red, Red Rose. This is another famous poem from Robert Burns. To all you hopeless romantics out there, this is for you. Oh, my love's like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love's like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry. Till all the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks. I was going through a nice flow there by accident, almost said walks there. And the rocks melt with the sun. Oh, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. And fare thee weel, my only love, and fare thee weel a while. And I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 mile. Beautiful stuff. Various song artists have had song renditions of these poems. I think, was it Eddie Reader who had a particularly good song rendition of Red Red Rose, which went something along the lines of, with the exception of the part, my love. Nope, wrong tune. My love. I can't go that kind of note. I'm not the best singer. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love's like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. She's got a nice rendition of that, as well as other Robert Burns poems. I used to be a hopeless romantic. I actually succeeded in getting someone I genuinely like. Really? Really? Get you? Oh, you James Bond, you Indiana Jones, you rogue rapscallion, you Leonardo DiCaprio person, you. You managed to win someone over. Man, oh man. Are you still together, or I mean, it seems a bit personal, mate, to be sharing this in the live stream, mate. I mean, but you do you, I guess. I guess, mate, unless you're that confident with declaring the love of your life. Oh, love is never really something to boast about. At least not excessively in public. Just keep that in mind. But regardless, seems I've worked out well. I tend to overshare. Well, you seem to trust me. Honestly, you'd be surprised at my knack for stuff. You're not the first person I've come across who's shared quite a lot. Quite an experience to do that, eh? I suppose if you're going to that extent of oversharing, feel free to stuff. Lots of stuff, mate. Lots of stuff. Okay, other poems here. So the two of you, have you? Do you think your relationship's getting stronger? Keep in mind, I have talked to somebody, and somebody who cautioned me about someone that she knew who got a wee bit too carried away with a disastrous relationship. It's a reminder that if you're going to go for a dedicated, lifelong romantic partner, you've got to be genuine with one another. You've got to be selfless to one another. You've got to be willing to sacrifice to one another, not indulge and take advantage of one another. Because love is selfless. It's not selfish. Love is never proudful. There's even a Bible verse that says that. Love never boasts. Love is that one thing that keeps improving over time. Seriously, love heals a lot of hurts, mate. It's great if you find it in the right places and in the right people. Amazing thing. Really amazing thing. And as cheesy as it sounds, yeah, love is what we need. It's mostly in a happy medium. All right. All right. I didn't know he tasted like a lollipop. Huh. What kind of sweetness are we talking about? Does he taste like a specific kind of strawberry, or is he does he have a lot of sugar on his skin? Wow, I mean, if he's really such a sweet guy, I mean, man, I didn't seem to consider that, man. Quite the revolutionary thing. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, that woman's so sweet. Oh, that guy's so sweet. Oh, do they have enhanced sugar on their skin pores or something?" Huh, wow. I mean, that's quite the feat to sweet people. I am so wacky. I suppose whilst we're in the topic, let's see. What other poetry do we have here? Let's see. Ooh, Ballad of the American. Let's see here. Oh, all right. Here's a classic. A man's a man for all that. Yeah, here's a classic. All right, I'm going to read it out. Dougie MacLean has done a great song edition, in fact. He's rather kind in regarding taste. That's taste between me and him. I laughed like Seth Rogen there. Right. Let's see. Man's a man for all that. Dougie MacLean. A man's for all that. Yeah, that's the one. All right. This song here, you should take a listen. I think this is a good rendition of the song For All That by Dougie MacLean. Dougie MacLean's a song, the guy who sang the Caledonia song. Let me tell you that I love you and I think about you all the time. And fun fact, Dougie MacLean wrote a song, a musical song that would later on be the theme song for the Last of the Mohicans. True story. A man's a man for all that. Right. It's there for all his poverty that hangs his head and all that. The coward slave, we pass him by. We dare be poor for all that. For all that and all that. Our toils obscure and all that. The rank is but the guinea stamp. The man's the goat for all that. And it goes on and on and on like that. Quite a good merry song. Let's see what others. What others are there? Let's see. He wrote a lot of poetry, and he died so young. I must have been one busy poet. And I'll kiss thee yet. I don't think I've encountered this one before. I think I'll give this one a go. My cat brought me a mouse. I'm confused. Accept the mouse. The thing about cats is that the domesticated cats love their owners so much that they will give you gifts. They're probably not the most ideal, pleasant gifts for human beings, but they're gifts nonetheless. I mean, maybe if they like catch a bird, you could like pluck all the feathers and then just make bird stew, I guess. Maybe. Well, with a mouse, it's a fairly small thing. There's not a lot of meat on there, but it bit its head off. Okay. And then offer the mouse's body to you. Right. Flattering. Right. Well, I mean, it's one way to get rid of. It's a form of pest control. Also, the cat's just telling you, Master, look what I found. The pest is dead. I have done my duty. Now I am going to stroke your leg because I did this for you. Okay. Oh, yes. Right. Yes. So, in fact, you know what? Is there a Robert Burns poem for a cat? Please let there be a Robert Burns poem for a cat. Let's see. Cat. No, I don't think there is. That would be quite appropriate if that was the case. Oh man. Let's see. Holy fair. Maybe there's a shepherd's wife. I might as well send the link to what I'm looking at. Took a moment to dispose of the body out of the cat's view. Don't tell the cat. The cat must know that you love him. And the cat is going to give you some very unorthodox gifts that you must accept because the cat is trying to protect and love you. And maybe nibble on your shoes. Since when do cats nibble on shoes? Right, let's see. Oh, I know. To a mouse. Yep. I'm going to read to a mouse. That's the closest thing to a cat. Oh my god, a cat. To a mouse. Okay, where is it? There we go. To a mouse. We sleekit cowrin timbrous beastie. Oh, what a panic's in thy breastie. Thou need nae start away sae hasty, we bickering bratty. I wad thee laith and rin and chase thee, we murdering paddle. I'm truly sorry man's dominion has broken nature's social union, and justifies that ill opinion which makes thee startle at me, thy poor earth-born companion and fellow mortal. I doubt nae wells but thou may thieve. What then, poor beastie, thou mun live, a demon icker in a thrave. Say a smart request. It's a smart request. I'll get a blessing with the lave. I never miss it. Thy wee bit hussy, too, in ruin. It's silly was the winds a strewing, and nothing now too big a new one. Oh, foggy green, and bleak December's wind ensuing, blithe snell and it's just as well I'm reading this in January. Thou saw the fields laid bare and waste, and weary winter coming fast, and cozy here beneath the blast thou thought to dwell, till crash! The cruel coulter passed out from thy cell. That wee bit heap believes and stibble, rather. Thy wee bit of heave and stibble has cost thee money, a weary nibble. Now thou's turned out for a thy trouble, but house or held, to though the winter's sleety trouble and croonach cold, but Moosey, thou art know thy lane. Improving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes of mice and men gang aft ugly, and leave us not but grief and pain for promised joy. Still thou art blessed compared with me. The present only toucheth thee, but och, I backward cast my ee on prospects drear, and forward though I canna see, I guess and fear. And there we go. That's To a Mouse. It's Alan Cumming is a funny name. Forgive my juvenile sense of humor. Alan Cumming. Right. I'll take your. I'll take that advice to heart. I forgive you. Mm-mm. So that was To a Mouse, another famous Burns poem. I thought it was rather prevalent, given the fact that you've had an encounter with a moose. There's a moose loose about this house. John Kennedy. Let's see. What other poems could I read to you all tonight? Shepherd's Wife. I'll kiss thee yet. Now this is clearly a song. Might as well just keep eating. I can still taste some of the salmon here. Oh yeah, because there's a wee bit of the salmon skin there. That chili salmon is surprisingly good flavor combination with the haggis and neeps. Surprisingly good. I noticed, Mad Cat Lon, that you were on the live chat for my recent Daredevil themed video. What do you make of it? Take your time with your response whilst I eat this. I think that video is going to catch on. It got a fair amount of likes. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Let's see how many views that. Yep, 15 views. And editing is nice. The analysis is quite reasonable. Yeah. I try to make it as fair as possible. I mean, the thing with these analyses is that whatever happens, I try to stick as close to the context of what's being presented as much as possible. With these kind of analyses, you can't always just insert your own opinion and call it a day. Otherwise, you'll start to form a cult. You got to address it as is and then view it under this kind of lens and see if it logically holds up. And obviously, with the Daredevil show, it places a lot of emphasis on theological because, well, the main character is a Catholic, so it kind of goes without saying. Well, an overt Catholic. I mean, everyone's religious in some way. It's just a matter of who they affiliate with. And Matthew Murdoch is just is very overt in what he professes to believe. For cult leader. Good one. Good one. So, with these analyses, unlike cult leaders, I try to encourage people to think for themselves by just assessing the evidence as is and then taking it from there. I find that's a good approach. Always stick to the context. Always stick to the context. And the more you get familiar with certain lines of research, the more you'll start to notice patterns. And once you notice these patterns, you'll catch onto them and then point them out to others, because pattern recognition is a key aspect to these kind of analyses. And I suppose my abilities to make art, like the paintings and the animations I did, that certainly contributes to pattern recognition. I was intending to make something like that with my Daredevil review, but I ended up talking about the show as a show, and my friend Brooks Gallinghouse from Squid Bear wanted me to make a whole theological analysis video, and so I did. Mad Cat Lon says, I am currently working on a script for a Kenshi lore analysis. It's difficult. Oh, are you now? All right. I mean, I take it must be quite difficult simply because I take it it's rather either too expansive or it's too vague. Christian RPG gamers, hello. Happy Robbie Burns night. I just spent the live stream just reciting Robbie Burns poems, including the Selkirk Grace, and just talking to Mad Cat Lon here. And now, in hindsight, I understand why she calls herself Mad Cat Lon, because her cat was mad enough to offer her a sacrifice of a beheaded mouse. So there we go. And also, I've been having a nice Burns supper. Haggis, deep studies, and salmon. And a cockaliki soup with carrots, leeks, celery, chicken, prunes, thyme, and parsley. Bonny stuff. I suppose whilst you're here, oh yeah, my name is Philip. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Philip. I didn't know your name was Philip. My name is Philip, for you Narnia fans. If you understood that reference, Narnia fans. Because it's Narnia business. You can call me that or just my channel name. It doesn't matter either way. Right. Right. The Philip of the Christian RPG Gamers channel. Let's see. Now, here's quite an interesting poem from Robert Burns. It's called A Prayer in the Prospect of Death. Let's hear more about this poem. In these verses, Burns acknowledges that he did not always stick to the path of righteousness. Well, if we say we're perfect, then we're lying to ourselves. And laments that he may meet his maker quite soon. Well, Robert Burns did die quite young. However, the natural shortcomings of human nature are viewed as instilled by God, who thus should be willing to forgive his creatures for succumbing to the passionate flesh. Yeah, beautiful stuff. The poem is usually dated to 1784. Right. Who is Robert Burns? Dude! It is all right. Mad Cat Lon says in regards to her Kenshi lore analysis, it's all environmental storytelling, and for lore, you need a massive squad to travel everywhere, and I'm a man. Right. Yeah, there must be so much to see and to do. I mean, I don't know about the game. I mean, I don't even know if it presumably has the option to say whether the player character is either a man or a woman or what kind of class system you got going for there. But Anyway, enough about that. I'm going to address Christian Phillips' question. I don't know if you're familiar with the song Old Lang Syne that people sing at every New Year's Day. Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? That song? That song was by the poet Robert Burns from Scotland. So that song you hear every New Year's, that you got Robert Burns to thank. I've heard of that one. Yes, that is a Robert Burns poem. And today and tonight is basically dedicated to celebrating the birthday of Robert Burns. So he contributed quite a lot to the culture, giving like addresses to a haggis, a poem to a mouse. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. That's another poem that he wrote. There's been various songs of artists doing various renditions, like Dougie MacLean and Eddie Reader. Other people like that. Anyway, I'm going to read you another poem saying, "A prayer in the prospect of death. O thou unknown, almighty cause of all my hope and fear, in whose dread presence ere an hour perhaps I must appear. If I have wandered in those paths of life I sought to shun, as something loudly in my breast remonstrates I have done, thou know'st that thou hast formed me with passions wild and strong, and listening to their witching voice has often led me wrong. Where human weakness has come short, or frailty stepped aside, do thou all good, for such thou art, in shades of darkness hide. Where with intention I have erred, no other plea I have, but thou art good, and goodness still delighteth to forgive." Man, that is deeply profound. Wow. Well, I guess I live in the States. Most people will just be mad about degenerate stuff, like, oh, getting high. Yeah. I mean, I've had to put up with the woke crowd for the past 5 years, or 6. Not to mention, there's also extremists on the Trump side as well, mind you. I mean, I recommend the Bounce Path. I mean, it's just as well Philip and I follow the Metatron of YouTube. Someone who insists on keeping things balanced, because it's easy to like delve into the extremes. It's easy to delve into the extreme of who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, when in reality life's more like Princess Mononoke or like Tolkien's stories, where yeah, there is a definitive good and evil, yes, but people are more complicated than just simply good versus evil. There's good people who are well, actually, the Bible says there's no one who does good, not even one. It's more like a whole hodgepodge of people who are trying to do good, but ultimately fail. There's this quote from C.S. Lewis that says, "We don't know how bad we are until we try to be good." Because, and I didn't mean to get all riled up, so I love talking about it. So, well, yeah, this is the place to be for it. Yeah. All sides and every argument has its flaws. Pick your opinion for yourself after analyzing both sides. Well, I mean, at the same time, there is an objective truth to attain for. Like, even like the very statement, like, there is no truth. You have to ask, is that true? Is it true that there is no truth? Because if it's true that there is no truth, then your statement can't be a true statement either, even though it claims to be true. So, I mean, you got to pick what's true in the end, because that way you're honest with yourself and you're not defying your consciousness. Suppose what the poem I've just read out showcases is that all of us are accountable. All of us are accountable. Like, it doesn't matter whose side you profess to be on. I mean, all of us have something to reconcile for, and it's all the more reason why we need to reconcile with each other. If possible. If possible. We have all original sin, but on a moral level, people can be on an earthly level good or evil. All right. Right. Yeah, however good's defined. However that's defined. I get what you mean, earthly. Yeah. Earthly standards. Yeah. Though, the fact that we even have a standard for good indicates some kind of compass where we ought to be. It's pretty interesting. When you observe reality, you realize the moment that there are just some fundamental aspects of our reality that cannot be empirically measured in any way, like logic and mathematics and morality and imagination and the past and persons, then you realize, gosh, there's a whole plane of existence that's so much more than what we see around us. And then that'll get you to think about how you want to approach other people who have that same realm of existence in their lives. A lot of people presuppose it. Other people acknowledge it and are grateful. Other people acknowledge it and just go on with their lives as if nothing happened. We got to acknowledge it. We got to acknowledge it. As Robert Burns revealed, that we all fall short, but there is hope for redemption. There is hope for recovery. What's the key aspect of that poem? Grace. Grace plays a crucial aspect. I view things from less a moral perspective and more a pragmatic perspective of what is best for the people, what allows the individual to thrive and prosper without total anarchy. All right. What's best for the people, what allows the individual to thrive and prosper without total anarchy. Without total anarchy. All right. I mean, some people might say, well, that would work for dictatorships within their own enclosed circles. See, people might say. But of course, that in itself would be a type of anarchy. I like to believe in redemption for people. Is it even really true or real, though? Yeah, it's true. It's real. I've experienced it myself. It is possible to reconcile, and I've experienced it firsthand. Nothing like firsthand to experience to affirm something. How else are people going to change? For the better. For the standard of what we even define as better in the first place. And I am short on tea, and I need more. I need to start tidying things up. And my belly is full of haggis, deep and ties. You talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. For all that and all that. What was the lyric again? I have a good memory. He's good enough to talk about. I really need to start memorizing those Burns poems. Well, I suppose those Burns poems are written down. So it wouldn't have to remember. Sean Connery, there's another Scottish legend there. Let's see here. Authoritarian systems on paper can be great. Yeah, except the people will revolt as to have the system in place is to infringe upon the right to pick the representatives and root them out once they have. Right. Oh yeah, I guess I was gonna ask your thoughts on stuff like church and brick building versus like the online one. Oh yeah, yeah, we were talking about something like this in the previous live stream. That's right, that's right. Come corrupt in spelling. Spelling. Curse you, spelling! Cry havoc and unleash the dogs of war! Just have Brian Blessed like blurt out on a microphone. Limit to letters is pain. Autocorrect. Our lives would have been so much better if autocorrect was never a thing. Oh, man. And just when you need it the most, it doesn't work. Anyway, about what Philip said. Philip, the Christian RPG gamers lad. I was going to ask your thoughts on church like stuff and then brick building versus like the online one. Right. Just have the people be together, no matter what. Ideally, you want people to get together in person because that builds the sense of community. You see, the thing about the Great Commission and the Christian faith is that Jesus Christ was encouraging people not to be just an exclusive bunch. He wanted to spread the love to everybody, even Gentiles, even Romans, all of them, all of them. They were all welcome, and many people were radically converted. So to expand the family, people got to get together, and Paul addressed the fact that new converts were getting carried away with trying to follow the law, even though, as I said earlier, with C.S. Lewis, we don't know how bad we are until we try to be good. Because even I've had to learn through the past few years, the hard way is that if you try to follow the law, but follow the letter of the law, you're going to be condemned. You're going to be punished. Why? Because none of us can live up to it. None of us can. So there has to be something that overrides the law without compromising it. What is it? Love. Grace. So that kind of thing is necessary to overlook potential faults. Not ignore the faults, mind you, but to prioritize inviting people to the potential for improving. I even said in my recent video about the theological analysis of Netflix Daredevil that there was this one pastor I saw online who brought a new light to this one story for me. The story about Jesus and the woman caught in adultery. People were ready to stone her, punish her. That's the go-to way of doing things. I'll even provide the link for the video in case you haven't seen it yet. But basically, during the video that it would have been so easy for people to just go to condemning, and Jesus could have easily. I know it sounds like I'm going on a tangent, but I'll get back to what you're saying. If Jesus said nothing, then he's unrighteous. But if Jesus affirms, yeah, go ahead and stone her, then Jesus isn't really going to fulfill his goal. So he tells people, all right, he who is without sin, go throw the first stone. Only in 2024 did the real meaning of that phrase come to light for me. That's true. I guess it looks bad, but it's true. I'm a sinner. I can't be perfect. Same here, buddy. Same here. Same for all of us. So when Jesus said, he who is without sin may throw the first stone, the pastor told me what he meant is that all of us have goofed up. Who are you to condemn others? You see, treat others the way you want to be treated. Oh, you're going to be treating others with condemnation and missing out on the potential to actually grow up. Okay, that's how I'm going to treat you. If you're just going to go ahead and condemn others, be spiteful, resentful, all right, fine. That's how I'm going to treat you. It makes you think about accountability and about the simple fact that we were no better. In fact, the pastor said it like this. He had known people who previously got addicted to drugs. And then when they repented, they were condemning others of being addicted to drugs. Hang on. Wait a minute. You were once addicted to drugs yourself. Who are you to condemn others? This opportunity should inspire compassion to help those people, not just look at it all with shame and condemnation. Steep learning curve, depending on the way you take it. So going back to what you're saying, you have to realize that grace is the most important part for forming community together. If you're going to view it through rules, then you're not really going to go anywhere. The top priority of the church was, and always been community. We were been encouraged to love one another, not to ignore evil, mind you, but to offer people a way out through love and grace. So in regards to this topic, ideally you want to get together no matter what. Having a church building is helpful because it gives a centerpiece for people to gather. And depending on the structure of said church building, especially if it's beautifully made, like the ones you'd see from like Renaissance period in Europe, or even, I don't know, like some certain structures of like, I don't know, Orthodox churches in like Israel or something like that, you'll notice the architecture is pointing high up. So, or it could just be a straightforward, pointy, roof building with a tall bell tower. But either way, just a big hall for people to get together and to listen to someone speaking, and then have the space to talk to each other and perhaps converse about how they are applying what they've learned in their lives and forming the bonds, forming the friendships. And it's great to get together with that kind of people because you have a wide variety of different generations with different kinds of knowledge to share, newer generations bringing up some new stuff. So there's definitely something to learn from each other. So yes, whenever I say everyone, like, don't worry, I've got you, as even more like, yeah, wow, it's true that I shouldn't be quick to judge and I shouldn't be a hypocrite. Yeah, steep learning curve for me too. On a somewhat related note, the most accurate of the original Bible that is easily accessible, the Ethiopian Bible. Oh, really? The Ethiopian Bible. I think that's, if that's true, then that's quite significant because if I'm not mistaken, Moses' wife was an Ethiopian, whereas he himself was of Hebrew origin. So that's interesting that you bring that up. Very interesting. It's important to get these translations. When it comes to Bible translations, the earlier the better. What was the name of that one website, actually? There's that one really resourceful website. Oh, what was it? Oh, my Bible. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. 10, 20, Bible verse. What was the name of that website again? It was yes. Bible Hub. Yes, Bible Hub. Bible Hub is a great resource for learning the original context of specific verses. You can look up certain verses, and it's a great resource for learning Hebrew and Greek, which is very useful for learning the original context of specific verses, one word at a time. Very helpful resource. You even get commentaries from other people if you want to go to that extreme. So in regards to communities getting together, ideally, you want people to get together because that makes for the increased likelihood of forming connection. But in regards to online churches, yeah, during the pandemic, that was a necessary thing. People had to go online because people had to stay connected somehow, because isolation is not good for you. Like the Bible said, it's not good for man to be alone. And so many people had deteriorating mental health because they felt alone. And the woke crowd increased the sense of tribalism, which made people with good intentions feel more alone. So you need those communities to actually get together to support one another. Of course, there is a bit of a tricky business because, of course, I'm no expert on every single online group. So this may not apply to all the online groups, but typically with online church sermons, like people will get on, they'll listen to the person speaking, and then as soon as it's over, people leave. You don't really get that after bit where people can converse closely with the tea and biscuits and stuff like that. Of course, not every church has like the tea and biscuit tradition. I mean, you have people in different countries around the world, but typically, I would imagine that people around the world, some degree or another, take the time to talk to each other, as well as converse about different aspects of their lives, as well as take into accountability what other people might say. I mean, of course, you'll have some neighbors to talk to, but if you're observant enough, you'll catch on to some evangelist at your local church who's saying he's actually doing genuine miracles, like actual supernatural miracles, and that'll gravitate your attention. You'll have the conversation. Perhaps you'll have someone who's some kind of a war hero who is pretty silent on certain details for confidential reasons until recently. So there's a wide variety of experiences you can learn from. So I guess to answer your question there, Philip, ideally you'd want to be as close as possible, but if you had to, there's no harm in going online. I think that's the best answer I can give you. Humans require community to be healthy, exactly, and sane in the first place, exactly. On the other hand, it should be noted that exposure to others can overwhelm and cause other mental issues. Yeah, exactly, Matt Cutler, exactly. Robin Williams had this very profound quote saying, "The worst thing in life is not to be alone. It's to be with people who make you feel alone." Solid answer. Thank you. It's just common sense. You go with the flow of things. Of course, lean not on your own understanding. Had to learn that the hard way. I love the stuff that Grape Tree provides. It's just as well you say that, Matt Kitlum. Something I've had to learn about mental health is that people can have trouble with sort of mental health conditions, or they could have the willpower to overcome mental health conditions depending on how they approach things. It's entirely possible. There's a whole plethora of situations that can play out. But there's unanimous agreement that the wrong people and relationship breakdown can and will inflame mental health issues. Whenever hearts are broken, whenever there's relationship breakdown, whenever there's increased anxiety because of some kind of breakup or some kind of unwanted drama of some kind, or something like that, then mental health increases because mental health issues increase rather because with that kind of drama, it makes you feel more isolated. You sense a betrayal. In fact, a lot of people who experience that kind of drama tend to close themselves off from others. Because why do they close themselves off from others? Because obviously, you need other human beings in order to stay sane and safe. I mean, obviously, it's not as if said people, entirely distance themselves from social interactivity altogether. It's just that after such a drama, it could very well be that they're less inclined to get as deep with people as they used to, because they don't want to feel that sensation of having their hearts broken all over again. That's entirely possible. You have to keep that in mind. There could be someone close to where you live, or maybe at your job, working as a colleague, or maybe someone maybe walking across the street, or your neighbor. They could keep up the smiles, keep up the pretenses, but it could very well be that they've distanced themselves from a deeper intimacy because they don't want to risk having their hearts broken again. But as I've learned, intimacy with other people, intimacy is needed to anchor yourself into your heart away from the anxieties of the mind. You see, with people who are mentally unhealthy, people don't want to have their hearts broken again, so they move away from the heart. They go up here. They go into survival mode. They want to think. Oh, I'm the smarty pants. I'm smarter than you'll ever be, son. But there's a major problem with that. If you're stuck up here without allowing access to here, you have to live with everything that comes with being up here, including anxiety. And that is hell. That is hell. Man, Catlon says, it is due to a sense that after someone you trust so deeply betrayed you, you just don't want to go through it again. Hence, being less social, forming more shallow relationships. Exactly. Yeah. That's another aspect. Forming shallow relationships. I suppose it could be something like work colleagues, where you just treat them as colleagues and nothing more. Or maybe it's people from online groups that you have this blind agreeability with, but you never actually get to the deeper pains of the heart. People with mental health issues, they tend to chase symptoms. They keep chasing symptoms because they're tricked into thinking, oh, if I solve this thing that's getting my attention, then once I solve that, then everything's going to be just right. But what happens when you solve that? Another one shows up. And another. And another. And another. And another. And another. And another. They keep following one at a time. The most brutal truth about reality on an existential basis is that everybody goes through uncertainty at some point in their lives. Everybody. Betrayal sucks, but staying in it is like a negative cycle too. Yeah, exactly. Betrayal sucks, but resentment sucks even more. It sucks even more out of you, like a vampire. I've heard it said that resentment is like drinking poison, hoping the other person will die. That's not exactly a healthy state of being to be in. That's why reconciliation is very important. If there's someone who's hurt you, I mean, yeah, that sucks, but you've got to forgive them. You've got to forgive the people who are responsible for hurting you, because it gives you peace. And it gives you the loving heart that Jesus Christ would have wanted you to have. It's very important that you know that. Very important. Relationships matter a lot. I guess I don't forgive easily. I think you were meant to put in an S between A and I, because you're saying, I guess I don't forgive Eli. You don't forgive Eli? Why don't you forgive so Eli? Eli. I'm sounding like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Eli. Everyone. Speaking of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian is in Mortal Kombat now, just so you know. It's important to get into relationships, especially if you meet somebody who gets. I struggle to let go of grudges, and generally, I'm not great at letting things stay in the past. Well, the thing is, you forgive people. That's not the same thing as forgetting. I mean, if you forget what happened in the past, then you're doomed to repeat it. Like, the woke crowd are very guilty of trying to erase certain parts of history for the sake of their own emotional validation, when that's just not how reality works. The proper way to address issues in the past is to acknowledge that A, they happened, and B, we can learn from what happened. We do not make a peaceful society by forcefully erasing what happened in the past. Otherwise, people become the kind of control freaks that George Orwell was warning us about. You have to let it go, because there was someone, a good friend of mine, who told me that resentment is a form of pride. It's a form of pride, and you have to let it go. I mean, this person even went as far as to say you shouldn't really even call them heretics or something like that. You got to seek the well-being of them. I mean, it's a difficult thing, but there's only so long that you can hold on to that kind of bitterness for before it either eats at you or you let it go. There's a book I have. I brought this up before in a previous live stream, but given the topic that we delved into, I'll bring it up again. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Anyway, so let's see. All right. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I love talking about this stuff, but I don't know. Now I got you on like a rampage. No stopping this rampage there, son! It's less not forgetting. It's more a cold spite to those I believe wronged me. I realize this and generally attempt to see those things through a less emotional filter. Yeah, because you don't want to experience the heartbreak. You're afraid of feeling. I know, I've been there. Also, welcome back from the welcome back from the void. Yes, I am back from the void. I have something to deliver from the void. Anyway, I was bringing forth a book, and it's basically the end of this particular book, Vinland Saga, book number 13. This whole saga, from what I know, is yet to conclude. But honestly, the last page of this particular book, if the entire series just ended on this one image, I'd be happy. Even though I know there's more story to be told, but if it all ended with that one image, it'd be great. So this one image isn't going to spoil too much. Oh gosh, I need to watch it still. I'd highly recommend it. I mean, it's not a perfect series. There are a few strange compromises to historical integrity throughout the entire story. But honestly, I believe the strengths of this whole series more than makes up for its weaknesses. And I guess minor spoilers, because this isn't really showing the character faces, but this image right here is perfectly in sync with the kind of topics we're talking about. Reconciliation and forgiveness. I brought this image up in a previous live stream because it's such a profound one. Basically, the events leading up to this particular picture, it's basically a combination of reconciliation and forgiveness. And basically, one character is saying, I can't hold on to it anymore. And recognizes that the other has atoned and forgives. With resentment, I understand why people would hold on to resentment, but you just gotta let it go, because it leads you to see other people through the lens of love. The kind of love that seeks the best well-being in other people. The kind of love that says, I want you to be saved. I want you to do better. And even though it hurts, what happens? I'm willing to grow from it, and I'm willing to seek the well-being even in the worst of my enemies. This is especially why we need to keep a balanced view on things. Especially why. My cup is freaking empty. I put ginger and turmeric into my teacups because ginger and turmeric are good for your stomach and other stuff. Also, more banana chips. I love the snacks from Grapefruit. I just love them. Banana chips. So, it's interesting you bring that question up, Philip. Because in one sense it is, and in another way, not overtly. So why do I say that for Vinland Saga? Plantain chips are better. All right, plantain chips. What are plantain chips? Plantain. That's interesting. Plantain. What's a plantain? Oh, it looks like something similar to a banana. Oh yeah. They are familiar to bananas. Ah. Sorry, I will get back to your question, Philip. I'm just. Wow, plantains just look exactly like bananas. I guess that's the difference between like a cucumber and a courgette. Anyway, back to your question, Philip. Is the Vinland Saga series Christian, or does it have Christian references in it, or just fantasy only? It definitely has Christian references, and even though the author Makoto Yukimura is not a professing Christian himself, and he takes a lot of creative liberties with history in order to make this kind of thematic story, it does nevertheless have Christianity in it, because this is set in a time in Anglo-European history when Christianity was starting to take a hold on the culture, and that plays a crucial part in the overall story. This is set in a time when the pagans, like Norse pagans, were gradually transitioning to Christianity. You see that reflected in not just the events around it, but also with like the character arc of Thorfinn, the main character, and with a few other notable characters. You'll notice like there's specific embraces of like the golden rule, love your enemy as you would love yourself, or you'll have other people talking about these concepts that closely align with the Christian way of thinking. In fact, I've made an entire video in the past talking about this one particular part from the first arc of the story, which basically talked about how death fulfills people, about how death is a form of love in some way. Let's see if I can find it. Will the balls agape love? Even had a really profound comment there as of lately. It was this one scene that was shared to me on a Discord server that got me hooked onto the series in the first place. And as of making that, when I made that video, I had yet to complete watching and reading through the Vinland Saga series. I think one of these days I'm going to have to do a review of the entire Vinland Saga series. Because the series isn't perfect. I mean, there's about at least a few characters that are pretty oddly placed in a setting that was boasting in being historically grounded. But again, the strengths of Vinland Saga more than make up for its weaknesses. You've got some of the most profound philosophical reflections in all fiction. You've got some of the brilliant characters, brilliant moments, some really profound scenes, and a brilliantly subversive take on the revenge tale. And it's a great read. I also made another video addressing people who say, Vinland Saga is boring. To those people, I say, you're missing the point. Have you seen Solo Leveling? I have not seen Solo Leveling. I've heard a lot about it. In fact, Solo Leveling's got a video game adaptation as of late, if I'm not mistaken. I think that they announced that at the Game Awards, if I'm not mistaken. I want to watch it. I saw the movie recap for season 1, but he used stuff like necromancy, and it's brutal too. Right, yeah. Discernment is necessary. Now, something I've had to learn, especially during my legalistic phase, is that Act 17, verses 27 to 28, gives people like us the permission to engage with the culture. Paul was saying to the pagans at the time, hey, you see those pagan deities that you've been worshipping? All those beautiful traits you affiliate with them? Okay, well, that's affiliated with our God. Our God perfectly affiliates with the very stuff you described in your own poems. So Paul had to do his research. Paul engaged with the culture and used their culture to point to the one true God, reclaiming the beauty from the pagans that rightly belongs to the one true God, which perfectly harmonizes with the biblical verse to subdue the earth. What does subdue imply? Subdue means to, I guess, flip upside down, I guess. Sorry, I went to feed your cat. Yeah, you went to feed the cat that beheaded the mouse. That's understandable. I mean, you got to live up to the title of Mad Cat Lawn. Just saying. So yes, of course, Philip, you have to discern when it comes to those kind of stories, because if Paul was that generous with pagan poetry, then how much more could we celebrate like the writings of Tolkien and Lewis, despite what legalists say about that? And even you have to keep in mind, the legalists will attack Tolkien and Lewis, but they're doing so through a lens of condemnation. And as I said earlier, condemnation is going to lead to mental health problems. So it's better to see stuff like Tolkien and Lewis as a means of getting people closer to divine virtue. And there's other stories like that. I mean, I've made an entire live stream in the past addressing like the Act 17 and its implications on our history in regards to how it impacted, what was his name? Luther and his take on Aesop's fables, and then the Grimm's fairy tales, and then C.S. Lewis and Tolkien stories, and so on and so forth. Wow, I really like that idealism. What's it called? What's the name to call it? Doing that kind of thing. Reclaiming, I guess. We are the reclaimers. It's part of the Great Commission, buddy. The reclaimers. No, I was beginning to think to myself, has that name already been taken? Then I thought, no, wait, I'm probably thinking of the proclaimers. No, we are the reclaimers. The reclaimers. So you might ask yourself, oh, why are Christians reading stuff like the Berserk novels? They're gory, they're bloody, they got so much satanic stuff in there. Yeah, there is. But again, through Act 17 understanding and with the intent of getting others to embrace grace, you'll see that the reason why so many people like the Berserk stories is because that at its core message, it's a story about endurance, no matter how dark things get. Even the gospel of Christ is a pagan cross, not excruciating torture, but God used it for eternal life and all of the churches. Well, I used to struggle with that until I read a verse where Paul said, may I boast in nothing but the cross of Jesus Christ. To say you boast in something, that implies being proud of a prize. So he's taking the cross as a prize. So that cross, which was a pagan torture device, has now become a unanimous symbol of sacrificial love that will bring entire communities together. Amazing stuff, right? Truly, truly amazing stuff. I suppose on the topic of community, I suppose I should give shout out to other YouTubers who've helped bring light of this to me over time. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Malika Wrights. She's this wonderful, wonderful woman who lives down in London. She is very, very, very busy. Very busy, which is why she doesn't really upload that often. But man, when she does upload something, she packs a punch. She doesn't dance around the bush, as it were. She goes straight for the heart. And I've said it to people before, and I'll say it again. Malika is one of the most emotionally intelligent people I've come across. Like, you'll see in her videos or live streams, she's got a lot of profound topics to talk about in regards her overall goal of the channel is to get people to interact with culture, but also encourage people to engage with the harsh realities of everyday life. I think the best example of the kind of thing she's trying to talk about, at least in this kind of topic, would be her videos entitled The Danger of the Fey Realm. The Fey Realm is this term that she coined, to my surprise, which was inspired by this collective consciousness concept from Joseph Campbell, and applying it to a certain part of the Berserk stories. So if you get the chance, I'd recommend getting that sort of thing into there. Wow, dang, great tie to finish this up and wrap it to complete. Anyway, what other YouTube channels would I recommend in regards to the kind of top subject matter that I've been talking about? Ooh, let's see. Let's see. This one can also do the trick. Let's see. This YouTube channel does a good job of addressing the kind of topic matters I was talking about. Wow, I speak so bad, but it's funny how people react to my terrible typing. If you're familiar enough with certain patterns of words, you know, or you just have a laugh trying to understand it anyway. Let's see. Pardon me. Other YouTube channels that delve into the kind of subject matter we've been going into. Let me think. Going through my channel catalogs. Let's see. Okay, you gotta get me more personal than that. Let's see. Yeah. Yes. I came back to me making chicken noises. Just the fact that you went away and the first thing you encounter when coming back is there was this one video that I saw of this guy making some kind of Minecraft island thing, and then just at one point, out of random, he just starts singing this little song to himself. He goes, and then just divulges into imitating a chicken, like. That's a good rule of thumb for imitating a chicken. I should have left. Indeed. Anyway, never heard of him. The pastor I recommended, does wonders on the topics of mental health. I'd recommend checking him out when you get the chance. Let's see. Yes. This one is more of an academic channel. Well, it says Academy of Ideas. But this channel also delves into many aspects of mental health, about society, about philosophy, all those big philosophical ideas, which also happen to circulate topics of psychology and other stuff like that. I suppose it even delves into some well-known stories in some cases, like with George Orwell with 1984, and with obviously the likes of Crime and Punishment, and other stories with the likes of Fyodor Dostoevsky. I recommend reading Crime and Punishment or listening to it on an audiobook if you get the chance. Okay, let's see. What other channels could excellently summarize the kind of stuff I'm going for? Oh, yeah. This channel. Or John's Pleasure. Well, I've got thinking it's 17. Culpopoulos. I have no idea what that means, but okay. Culpopoulos, and it's dark outside. Let's see. Oh wait, is that the name of a channel? Let's find out. Culpopoulos. Nope. Oh. This is the straightforward. Nope. The engineer long neck. Nope. Let's see. I suppose I should take the time to recommend other channels to help you get involved, start recognizing with the pattern recognition patterns. Pattern recognition. Did you just say pattern recognition patterns? Yeah, I suppose I was talking about pattern recognition, so yeah, I guess that'll count too. Yeah. That'll do the trick. Other channels to recommend. Banana chips. Also, I'm making use of that frankincense that one person gave to me on Christmas, and it's a really lovely smell. Grimes and Comics. I don't think I do. Let's see. Maybe I have come across the channel before. Maybe. No. Oh wait. Yes, I have come across his channel before. He made a video about Berserk one time, and I saw that video. Ah, yeah. Oh gosh, now that's a risky one. Gosh. All right, thanks for bringing that up. Right. Other channels recommend, especially in regards to the kind of topics we were talking about. It's good to spread the word around. Spread the love around, man. Spread the love around. You gotta spread the love, man. You gotta know the love. Anyway. think I've said. I'll tell you, like niche people, you never heard of Lol Eridan. Lol Eridan. Were you laughing out loud as you were saying Eridan, or is the name literally Lol Eridan? Eridan. Eridan. Let's find out. Eridan. That sounds like someone named Aaron was trying to make it into Tolkien's works or something. Subscribe to Christian lore, all glory to Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. No, he's called Eridan. Oh, yeah. I thought so, right. All right. Speaking Latin there? What's that Latin all about? All right. Care to translate for us? Or should I be encouraged to look up those words? I don't know, but it's an option at least. Medical, you are still speaking better than me. Where do you come from, Philip? Are you from another country, I guess? That is quiet. Literally the fitness gram pacer test. The fitness gram pacer test wants you to speak Latin? Well, talk about training your memory capacity. I'm just looking at this Eridan website. Birth of Jesus is a non-Christmas fact. Why do I have the feeling that this guy is primarily approaching things through the lens of condemnation? I'm just getting that impression from the way he's presenting the vast majority of his thumbnails so far. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. Anyway, no, they do not use Latin for the gym test. Darn, that was a missed opportunity. I only speak American English and I barely do that well. Oh, right. I didn't realize you were from some other country. There we go. Entire beginning of it in Latin. All right. Where in the gym were you learning Latin? A fitness test? Like, who leaves Latin at a fitness test? That must be, I don't know, maybe we need Latin in more places. Pardon me. Eridan is definitely very good. I don't know, he uses dark stuff. Maybe it's from condemnation point of view too. I suppose I'll have to see for myself. Remember what I said about grace? And keep in mind, the Act 17 principle of reclaiming coincides with what the Bible says about subduing the earth. That video that he said about the birth of Jesus is a non-Christmas fact. I just got that suspicion that he was one of those anti-Christmas fanatics, even though Act 17 would endorse using Christmas as an exercise in Act 17 reclaiming. I hit my head on a counter while picking something up. Ooh, did you do that just now? Are you working? Are you working somewhere and I'm interrupting your flow? Sorry to interrupt the flow, yo. Maybe you live in a shop and you sleep on like the top shelf. Whenever you need to cool down, you poke your head in the fridge. I just did it. You just did it. Figures. I should probably stop eating the banana chips. I've already eaten haggis and tatties. I don't know. I have a big appetite. So I find that I keep eating stuff like banana chips, dark chocolate, nuts, and I kid you not, spoonfuls of peanut butter. I want the protein. I'm not going to eat empty calories like I used to. I want protein, and I want it to taste nice. I find that I am like turned off to excessive anti-discernment ministries only. Right. If they constantly call out or dismiss things, but maybe they're doing the right thing too. Maybe. Banana chips becoming like a monkey, becoming like Donkey Kong. I need to get back to making a gaming live stream at some point. There's a few games I've intended to play. Mad Cat Lawn recommended the Kenshai game. There was also Kingdom Come Deliverance for the PS5. I've been intending to do live stream of. So many games to live stream. I'll get back to live streaming games at some point. I suppose I'll need to get back to doing other things at some point. Oh gosh, I'll probably need to do some other things fairly soon. But I suppose before I head on out and, I don't know, go back to the gaming live stream, is there anything else anybody wants to talk about in regards to what's been discussed here? Random note, I got Marvel Rivals. Oh, have you? Well, there's something to talk about. Right. You got Marvel Rivals. I have too. And you notice I've been making live streams about myself playing the Marvel Rivals game. It is very fun. I suppose this is a good time to talk about my history with these kind of online kind of shooter games. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, whenever I got invited to a friend's house, like, it's fun to like play the likes of Call of Duty and other stuff like that, or the zombies game in Call of Duty, that, when you're together with friends. But honestly, the whole shooter genre just seems so bland and boring. Like, FIFA and Call of Duty have to be some of the most overrated gaming franchises of all time, because they just keep recycling the same kind of thing over and over and over again. That's a good question. I'll get back to that question soon, but first I want to address the fact that Mad Cat Lawn got Marvel Rivals. Anyway, so those kind of shit would bore me, but then it was around about my high school years that I was introduced to Steam, and I managed to play like the first Portal game. My sister got me into like the first Portal game, as well as Thomas Was Alone. Great games to get into, and my gaming catalog started to expand from there. And I noticed that another game made by Valve, the same people who made Portal, was Team Fortress 2. The aesthetics looked really appealing, and it was quite good to get into. And so I got into Team Fortress 2, and I've spent more than 1,000 hours over the years playing Team Fortress 2, and I had a lot of fun with a lot of it. So with Team Fortress 2, it's this sort of team-based game where the tone of it is not really taking itself that seriously. The visual style is not just a form of appeal, but also serves the functionality of the game in recognizing which character is which and differentiating where you are. And each of the 9 characters has a wide variety of weapons for this elaborate rock, paper, scissors kind of games as one team goes against the other. I played Halo mostly. I'm new to most of the mechanics of these type of shooters. I used to main Pyro and Team Fortress 2. I find myself maining the engineer and the demo man, but mostly the engineer. The 4 characters I've played as the most will probably be Spy, Scout, Demo Man, and Engineer. I think Engineer is the top character that I've mained the most, because the Engineer has a wide variety of tools and gadgets that he can provide for the team, like the sentries, the dispensers, and the teleporters, which really come in handy, and which makes him an excellent defense character. And I gravitate towards the defense type characters because in my primary school years, I usually like to play defense positions. I used to play Team Fortress 2. Yeah, Team Fortress 2. In fact, I've noticed that my most popular videos on this channel are centered around Team Fortress 2. In fact, as of recently, I made this video dubbing the last few panels of the Team Fortress 2 lore comics, and it's said to be the final one, and it happened to be set during Christmas time. I thought that seems like an appropriate time to do the dubbing. And because that was the main popular trend, and obviously being the last comic that's going to get a lot of attention, it's currently my second most popular video on the channel. Huzzah! Before that, I got this entire series of videos where I dubbed a fan-made comic, which was a Team Fortress 2 and Portal crossover, 2 of my favorite games, crossing over into this really well-written fan-made comic. Now, fan fiction is usually very iffy, but the Long Lost series that I dubbed happens to be surprisingly good fan fiction because it prioritizes actually good character writing. What made Team Fortress 2 stand out to me? The visual style, the humor, and the fact that the characters were all more memorable compared to guy on the left that you'll see in a typical shooter game. Oh no, guy on the left. How could this happen? Oh no, what happened? Oh, that's terrible. Oh no. And these other characters have their definitive Overwatch, and it's 3 healers. Yeah, I'll get to that. Yeah. So, being someone who played Team Fortress 2 a lot, obviously when advertisements came for Overwatch, I was really keen to play that. Overwatch was basically taking what Team Fortress 2 did, get a bit of influence from League of Legends as well, and do its own new thing, sort of science fiction, superhero kind of thing. Very stylized, taking itself more seriously with this really engaging story, and it was really fun. All the characters had these great abilities. They got introduced like these ultimate abilities, like you'd see in like Super Smash Brothers. I've also got a fair amount of popular videos on this channel dedicated to playing Overwatch 1. Let's see, my most popular Overwatch themed video, let's see, is me playing hide and seek. I'm glad that that's the case because I liked watching C Nanner's videos. I think some of C Nanner's best videos is when he's playing the hide and seek games. That usually gets a lot of laughs out of me, or something like that with prop hunt. Actually, my most popular Overwatch related videos when I was playing the Black Hole game, actually. That was also quite a fun game. Again, that was another game where characters had their unique abilities, their unique characteristics, and their strengths and their weaknesses, and it's a great fun game. Overwatch was mediocre for me, to be fair. I joined it when it was at the end of its lifespan. Yeah, that's the thing. Overwatch was pretty chaotic, but it was a lot of fun. Not to mention, there was this gradually building lore, and there were some superb animated shorts to promote the characters. They were so superb. Like Michael Chu, if I'm not mistaken, was the story director of those shorts. They were excellent. They got you gravitated towards the characters. They got you hooked in. You were emotionally invested. They did a great job with these characters, only in the span of a few minutes. It was really well done. And of course, there was more lore and there was more excitement. And they were building up the story akin to like Avengers Endgame, to the point where Overwatch 2 was promising an actual story mode, which would be a first for this kind of game, or at least this kind of like hero shooter kind of game. And we were, all of us were ecstatic. I even made a reaction video to Overwatch 2, and there was even like people at the GameCom were saying that, oh, there's going to be this upgrade system. You're going to get these little perks for playing the game, and you're going to have the story mode, and you're going to have people get together in this epic kind of battle, and it was really exciting to see the stakes being raised, to see where it was going to go, only for Blizzard to freaking cancel it. Like, that was stupid. That was awfully disappointing. Like, imagine if Marvel showcased Avengers Infinity War and then teased Endgame for years only to cancel Endgame. That's the equivalent of what we experienced with Overwatch 2. The lack of class focus was my main problem. Most characters felt unspecial in a way. Yeah. So Overwatch 2 started to show its problems the moment that it shared that it wasn't going to go ahead with the story mode. In fact, they've had some updates where you have story missions. Okay, that's going to make sense. But more problems started to show up, such as the increasingly predatory monetization systems. Oh, and Bastion was my main because funny robot turret. Yeah, I mean, there were predatory monetization systems, which eventually divulged into pay to win. There was an increasing focus on characters that felt like they were there for the sake of being there, rather than because they felt like they contributed to the lore in a way that felt natural and fitting. It felt more like a reason to virtue signal rather than as a means to actually progress the story. Not to mention there were balancing issues that people had issues with, and what else was there? There was the story mode that was promised for so long was basically just denied to so many people. Yeah, the characters had little to nothing in the game in general. I mean, in the one sense, it's the same as Overwatch 1 in the fact that it still provides the game designs that was so revolutionary for a long time. Like Lucio as a healing character is still so much fun to play as, switching between healing and speeding up. The fact that he can roller skate on walls, speed up his team, and heal people by just being there. He's a really fun character to play as. And with Genji, if you could play Genji right, it felt really satisfying to pull off. And D.Va was quite an interesting concept for a tank character. A little girl who is a tank by virtue of her riding this big mech, and if you destroy the mech, then she's all vulnerable. And so you have... but she still has this surprisingly strong blaster. There's just so many creative ideas And all of it was just wasted on this cancellation of the story mode that people got hooked onto for years. Like, I think of like that one JonTron video where John reviewed Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts and how disappointed he was with that game. And at one point he makes this sort of joke rant. You know how JonTron specializes in having these tangents where it's partially a passionate rant, but it's also his humor pouring into there. Like he has this rant which goes something along the lines of, imagine if you completed Super Mario World and you were getting a teaser for Super Mario 64, but then upon release day you were granted with Mario City Simulator, and then the ghost of this Japanese creator says, hey, guess what? Mario games suck, am I right? BRB, and we're going to make Legend of Zelda Modern Warfare! And so, by that kind of logic, like, we were promised an immense, engaging, story-based, like a story mode, a full-on actual story mode for this kind of hero shooter. And it was just wasted away. And that was a big turnoff. And gradually, people got turned off from the whole thing altogether. So Marvel Rivals comes in and is basically filling in that gap that Overwatch left. In fact, Marvel Rivals may be doing its own kind of story mode at some point in the future. Maybe. But Marvel Rivals is for now is providing the kind of fun that people have been missing for years, whilst being innovative in its own way. So I was playing Marvel Rivals, and it's very similar to Overwatch, except now it's in third person, so you primarily, so you get the benefit of seeing the whole spectacle of the character and your skins, which is a really good idea. They've introduced the concept of team-up abilities. I mean, even as far back as Team Fortress 2, you could combine certain characters together and they just naturally work as a team. But with Marvel Rivals, they put in these abilities for characters that are exclusive to certain characters being on the same team. Like, for example, Rocket the Raccoon will only have the ability to have infinite ammo if he's teamed up with Punisher and or Winter Soldier. Wolverine and Hulk can team up with Wolverine by tossing Wolverine into the fray, or Rocket and Jeff the Land Shark can climb onto Groot for a ride, or Spider-Man can embrace the symbiote ability if he has Venom on the same team, or Iron Man can have Gamma Bursts if he's on the same team as Hulk, or let's see, what other team abilities were there? Or Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman will have this special healing up a buff ability if they are on the same team together. Or Jeff the Land Shark can shoot ice particles if he's on the same team as Luna Snow, and so on and so forth. And the kind of team up abilities make for an excellent variety in gameplay, and it's a really good idea. Not to mention, I mean, Overwatch and Team Fortress 2 also had their varieties of melee kind of combat, but Marvel Rivals places more emphasis on melee combat for certain characters. Good ideas that end up being just wasted. Okay. Rivals is great. I just suck at it, right? The reason it works well is because the synergy between the characters. Yes, Team Fortress 2 was made with this in mind, hence very few characters. And also the characters in Team Fortress 2 have a wide variety of weapons that can spice things up, and said weapons also have their own strengths and weaknesses. Rivals works because all the added characters have synergy. Yes, they have synergy, and the visual style is very appealing to look at. It's fairly grounded, but it's also very stylized in showing, sort of glorifying the athletic peak of males and females. I mean, Overwatch had that going for some time until recent years, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a great game. I'm having fun with Marvel Rivals, and it's definitely filling in the gap that that Overwatch couldn't. And I hope Marvel Rivals continues to showcase that. In fact, I've heard some people say that reminds me of the comic. Yeah, they've deliberately made it the character design very much like the comics. Yes. a bit of a variety of designs so that people can recognize who they are. I've heard people say that in regards to Marvel Rivals, that people say that Marvel Rivals is, funnily enough, the best possible thing that can happen to Overwatch, because now Overwatch Blizzard can no longer just lay back. They have to do something about it to meet the competition now. So Blizzard are not the juggernauts they used to be, especially given the controversies that Blizzard are responsible for in regards to abuse behind the scenes. We do not overlook that. Obviously, we want people to repent, but we don't forget what people did. So let's see. Christian RPG Gamer says, "What's your view on romantic relationships or that stuff?" I guess I was thinking about doing more of that stuff with a woman. Ooh, you're announcing this on a public live stream? Ooh, Mad Cat Lawn, you're not the only person to admit to romantic and no, advances sounds a bit wrong. Romantic, what's the word for romantic attempts? Yes, romantic attempts. I guess I was thinking about doing more of that stuff with a woman, but you might not be the best person to ask. Maybe I'm not the best person to ask. But you know what? I'm going to give it my all nonetheless. Here's my advice when it comes to romance. Work on your own independence first, because if you work on yourself first, then you're going to become the kind of person that your romantic partner would want you to be. I would also advise, in regards to romance, put the other person first. When it comes to your romantic partner, ask this deeply about yourself and look into your consciousness. Really think about this. Do you love this person as they are, or do you honestly just love them because you want to bang them? Primarily. Because relationships get very goofy in the wrong way when the primary... what's the word I'm looking for? The primary appeal, yeah. Relationships can get very goofy if the primary appeal of the relationship is lust. Why? Because lust reduces people down to sexual objects that are used to satisfy one's own sexual cravings. Now, the thing is, we all have that calling for sexual cravings, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, because sexuality can encourage us to engage in meaningful relational interactivity, but it can be distorted if we use lust in a distorted way. Then being lustful in general is distorted anyway. Sorry, I need to rephrase that. If we lust, then it is the distortion of love. Why? Because when you are lusting, you are imagining a fantasized, characterized version of the actual person and reducing that down to a sexual object for your own gratification. It's not a healthy way of looking at people. It isn't. It doesn't matter how good looking that person is. It doesn't matter how kind that person professes to be. If your primary appeal for a relationship is fulfilling a sexual craving first and foremost, then the relationship is doomed, because lust is always focused on self, no matter how you put it. I made this a rule of thumb for myself and from what I've seen in other relationships. From what I've gathered, seeing, and just by observing other people and observing sort of patterns in regards to social outcomes in life, if you as a person, are trying to fulfill some kind of sexual fix, if you're trying to fulfill some kind of sexual urge, and yet you are also scared of the possibility of having children, if you want to fulfill those sexual cravings, and yet you don't want to have children in any sense of the word, if you, or more precisely, if you want to avoid that possibility of gaining children, then you're not ready to have sex. You should not be having sex. Because why? Because no matter what kind of protection you could bring during those kind of sexual encounters, there is always a risk that a partner could get pregnant, or something of some unintended side effect could happen. It's possible that, and you have to be ready for that kind of thing in order to commit, because the thing about casual sex is that it robs people of the actual intimacy that they're looking for. That's why casual sex that like you see out in the towns and the pubs and stuff like that, it's so shallow. Why? Because people are just in it for a sexual fix, but it doesn't actually address the needs of the heart. You see, the heart demands an actual relationship in which you actually open up to the other person. Because why? Because by opening up to the person, then you're going to get into profound moments of opening up, profound moments of actual healing, and profound promises of your partner going to be there no matter what. And a partner who commits to you will welcome the possibility of bad consequences, but is in it to heal you. Love is the greatest adventure, I've heard one person say. I know one person who said that this person has been around various places in the world, but found that the most exciting adventure was with being with other people in the community. Why? Because love is the foundation for what we're meant to be. Love one another as I've loved you. We have eternity in our hearts, and that can only be fulfilled by a relationship. I've heard it said by such a person, if you don't relate to God on a relationship basis, you're never really going to relate to other people in the way that you're meant to. Really profound conversations, I remember. Truly profound. And the thing is, when it comes to romantic relationships, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable. If you find a romantic partner would have to be someone who loves you even after seeing the absolute worst in you. Someone who'd romantically love you would have to be someone who is vulnerable to you and encourages you to be vulnerable to her, because if you're not willing to be vulnerable, then you're not really opening up your heart. And if you're not opening up your heart, that implies that you're not ready for commitment. Why? Because you're scared of the heartbreak. Why are you scared of heartbreak? Because you're afraid. You're afraid of being separated. And that's the condemnation speaking. Condemnation will tell you that you're going to be abandoned. Condemnation is going to tell you you're going to be alone. Condemnation is going to tell you that you should embrace the shame. Condemnation will tell you should embrace the shame and drag everybody down to your pathetic level. That's what shame will say to you. But actual intimacy will say, don't be afraid to open up your heart. It takes courage to open up the heart. But if you take on the courage to open up your heart in a meaningful way, it's going to lead to a meaningful romantic relationship that's going to genuinely heal you. That's what I would say a good romantic relationship would be. That's what I would say. Just in answer to your question there, Philip. Madcat Lon says, trauma also has a massive effect on how people interact in general and in relationships. Well, yeah. Heartbreak implies some kind of trauma from some kind of drama. That rhymes. Because people can be traumatized by certain conflicts, certain clashes, certain forms of abuse, some severe forms of ostracized anxiety. There could be a variety of things. Yeah, and certainly trauma can certainly prevent people from fully opening up. It can be very difficult for people who have been traumatized by something horrible to open up. I mean, they might, open up. Well, they might. They'll appeal to people on the surface level basis, but they won't go anywhere further. But the problem is, if they're just going to remain on the surface level, they're never going to go any deeper. They're never going to have that profound sense of healing. This is why therapy and meeting actual friends who build you up and are not willing to tear you down, those kinds of people, romantic or not, those are the meaningful relationships you should be looking after. Certainly, God himself is in the mood for healing and for building you up. There are so many Christians who have this false perception that God is that condemning voice in your head. It's wrong. It's the devil who sends you those condemning voices. Why? Because condemnation implies the shame, which repeats the cycle of evil. But love forgives like 70 times 7 more times. Yeah, God is a righteous God, but he's more so forgiving. And his deepest desire is that nobody should perish. I mean, God is going to punish people, of course, but he wants people to get home to him as a father. Abba. That's a very deeply intimate way of saying dad. That special bond. A relationship between a parent and a child also plays a crucial role in how people are formed. In fact, I've heard it said by psychological data that people are more likely to become criminals, not all the time, but more likely to become criminals if they have a bad relationship with their dad. Let's see, Madcap Lon says, it also affects how people view others. Sometimes it means they see others as just bad. Yep, that's the black and white thinking. Or want to establish a form of dominance over others. Yeah. Sometimes it makes them unempathetic and cold to others. Yeah, because they're afraid of opening up. They're afraid of experiencing the heartbreak again without even realizing it. Yeah. People who experience that kind of heartbreak often close themselves off subconsciously, which can be a big mistake because it makes room for the anxiety. Thanks for the advice. You're welcome. I hope you were listening to all that. My viewer countership is a bit iffy, I think. Anyway, thanks for the advice. The stuff is useful for relationships. I will probably talk to it again in the future. Thanks, GG. God bless. God bless you too, mate. You're going to need it. Talk again in the future. Yeah, I look forward to these future conversations because I've gathered a lot of profound insight about what it means to love, what it means to be intimate with others. Played a crucial role in the healing. I have been talking a lot. Haven't we all? Story of our lives! Should probably put these banana chips away before I eat more. I'm going to eat more! myself to a few dark chocolate cashews. I just love protein, okay? He's sharing with the Dunwich heart. Oh, man. Sharing with the void. Oh, man. All right. Yeah. Gosh, that went deep. So, I guess what else is there to talk about? I should probably search for, okay, let's see, Eddie Reed, Robert Burns. Ah, yes, Eddie Reed, Songs of Robert Burns, Deluxe Edition. Yeah, there's the soundtrack. I mean, I don't really listen to all her stuff, but she does a good rendition of Robert Burns stuff. Yeah, she does that. Was she the one? Did she say? Yes, she did. She did. Did she say that? Okay, but maybe it wasn't her. Anyway, I have been going needlessly deep into video game lore for no reason. Do you do that sort of thing in your channel? Let's see. The channel. Oh, you haven't even gotten started yet. Huh. Oh, sorry. It's not. No, sorry. It's not on your channel. Just in general. I suppose video game lore can certainly help, because certainly if video game narratives are done right, they can make for some very fascinating deep dives to understand the thematics of the story even more. Like if a video game has a good enough story, you could delve into its lore and then take apart certain secrets, certain implications to further add to the core thematics of what the story is trying to say. I have about 3 half-finished videos. I really need to finish editing. All right. I see you've yet to contribute something big onto the YouTube. Something big to that caliber. What kind of video games are you into anyway? Obviously, you've kept recommending Kenshi, but what other ones? I'd be curious to know, if possible. I'd be keen to share my options for video games. I'll get back to you. I'm just gonna bring up. Yeah, there it is. Wait, no, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. That one. Yeah, there we go, there we go. Fallout. All right, Halo, Dead Space, Command and Conquer, Fallout. Oh yes, Command and Conquer. The third installment of that series has Tim Curry in it saying, "I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!" Halo, yeah, the Halo series, that's a great series. Dead Space, I can see why. Fallout, K nods in approval. K nods in approval. So, which particular entries of the Halo, Dead Space, and which particular entries? I mean, obviously you like those franchises, but are there any particular entries from the franchise? I mean, I've heard that the best game from the Fallout series is Fallout New Vegas. I mean, certainly listening to Joshua Graham certainly solidifies that opinion for a lot of people. The Halo series, any particular highlights of the Halo series for you? I'd like to get into specifics because honestly, I've shared this opinion with my friend Evan Prince, and it seems that from what I understand, the unanimously agreed upon best Halo game, whilst debated, is probably either Halo 2 or, this is going to be very controversial, probably Infinite. I know a lot of people don't like Infinite, and I can understand why, but at the same time, on a mechanical basis, Infinite offers the best options with the smoothest possible presentation, and the multiplayer of Halo Infinite is really, really fun. And the narrative of Halo Infinite is quite an interesting reconciliation story, whilst offering an interesting semi-open world format to the Halo formula. And Halo 2 offered the Arbiter's campaign, which is one of the best story arcs in the entire Halo franchise. I guess that makes sense. Infinite is fun, but the worst. The campaign is fun. All right. I mean, the multiplayer of Infinite is really fun, and yeah, I suppose the campaign is fun. I mean, honestly, I often struggle to figure out which game in the Halo series is the definitive best one, because all the Halo games, including Infinite, have their definitive strengths and weaknesses, though we do not talk about Halo 5. I mean, where the soulless. How is it soulless? Me and my friends were having a grand laugh with it. I mean, I understand like people would prefer the Halo 3 like multiplayer, but Infinite's got some really refined gameplay mechanics, a lot of expanded weaponry and stuff like that. I wouldn't call it soulless. It's quite fun, unless you're talking about certain patches that have been put in there. Let's see. You've also said that Halo Reach is your personal favorite for the more monstrous portrayal of the Covenant. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense, especially given how the final mission of Halo Reach has one of the most profound endings, if not the most profound ending in the entire Halo series, where you literally play a suicide mission, and it's kind of a no-win state where the game will continue for as long as it takes with no specific end goal, and the game will only end when your character loses health in the gameplay sense, and basically your character basically sacrifices himself so that, or herself, depending on how you customize the character, so that Master Chief and his crew can get away and continue on with the events of the first Halo game. So yeah, I'd say Halo Reach probably could have improved its characterization with its core cast. But other than that, the gameplay is pretty solid, the stakes are big, and that ending is really profound. With the first microtransactions, microtransactions really bring Infinite down. I was always more of a casual player than anything. And fundamentally, that's the weapon sandbox that made the first game so different. Well, I mean, Infinite still provides the sandbox of the weapons. I mean, the microtransactions aren't even for. It's not even a pay-to-win thing. It's just for customizable skins and vehicles and stuff like that. It's no big deal. I mean, it's not like Overwatch 2 where you have to literally pay up for characters in a game that is for free. It makes the weapon sandboxes bloated. Bloated. Okay. I mean, people would have preferred more weapons, but I guess that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, even though the multiplayer for Halo 3 is really fun, I find that the campaign for Halo 3 is pretty overrated. Don't get me wrong, it's a really epic campaign, and I understand that the team was very tight in regards to their development schedule. I get it, but at the same time, there's certain plot beats that could have had a better punchline, could have had a much better payoff. I mean, don't get me wrong, the payoff's still there, but it could have been a better payoff, if you get what I mean. I mean, even with Halo 2, I'd say like the Arbiter's story arc is the best part of that game. Master Chief doesn't really change that much as a protagonist in Halo 2, but he definitely has his he makes up for that with heroic moments, which are pretty awesome. With Halo 4, Halo 4 is like the first black sheep of the bunch, because on the one hand, Halo 4 has these very, very linear segments, which pales in comparison to the sandbox kind of gameplay that the Halo series was known for. But on the other hand, Halo 4 has one of the strongest stories in the whole series, especially where even though the main focus of the plot of Master Chief going against one of the forebearers is kind of bland, the emotional storytelling is on point in regards to the relationship between Master Chief and Cortana, especially given how Cortana's use by date is coming closer and closer. It leads to a lot of profound drama between the two of them. Halo 5, we do not talk about Halo 5. So yeah, I mean, as for the first Halo game, I appreciate that that's the game that introduced the revolutionary mechanics of sandbox mechanics and the way first-person shooters would work. But I find that the first Halo game really suffers from repetitive level design, which really gets on my nerves. Halo 4 is great, not the best story-wise nor gameplay-wise, but it is the best of 343 games. All right. I say Halo 4 is one of the best narratives. And then their ODST, it was an interesting variation of the formula with better defined characters, if you ask me. So honestly, I honestly can't really tell which Halo game is the definitive best one. But thinking about it, it's probably Halo 2, just purely because the Arbiter's story arc is the strongest. I mean, for a long time, I was talking about with Evan Prince, and he and I were thinking it's probably Infinite, because Infinite has the most fun multiplayer. Yeah, microtransactions, I know, but it still offers the most refined gameplay to date. But now that I'm having this conversation with you, I think I've just figured out now why I keep seeing Halo 2 pop up in so many people's like favorite all-time video games lists. And I think it is primarily because of the Arbiter's story arc and how they've interweaved that story into the gameplay. I find that narratives in video games are often at their strongest when the stories themselves are interweaved into the gameplay itself, rather than just being shown in cutscenes and that's it. I mean, don't get me wrong, cutscenes are great, but there's something really special about interactive stories where the core parts of the stories are interweaved into the gameplay. That's when it truly becomes interactive storytelling, the main strength that video games are capable of. Combat Evolved started it, and in my opinion, has the best campaign in terms of gameplay. All right. In terms of gameplay, it does make sense. I suppose it does offer a wide variety of weapons and vehicles, and how you can go about completing the levels. But man, that level, the repetitive level design is a bit much for me at times. I just find myself skipping certain parts of Halo just to get to the finale where Master Chief blows up the ship and goes on the Warthog run. So yeah, I mean, I like the Halo series, I really do, but I acknowledge its flaws when they appear. As of right now, I think Halo 2 is probably the best of the series. Let's see. What would be my favorite video games? Basically, all the Team Ico games, like Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian. I think those games are the pinnacle of interactive storytelling, and Fumito Ueda's nailed it down to a T. Mechanics and interaction that, while lost in later games, are so refined. and fun, and I honestly can play that any day. All right, the interact. But I take it with the way you interact with the different soldiers, right? Care to elaborate on what you mean by interactions in regards to Halo One? Because they still have the interactions of varying degrees in the other games. Other favorite games of mine would be like Portal 2, Sonic Adventure 2, Plague Tale Requiem. I have a video gameplay series on this channel of me playing through Plague Tale Requiem, and that game brought me to tears. I kid you not. The Professor Layton series I really adore. Batman Arkham City, that's amazing. Let's see. I need to get playing more games. Maybe I should get started with Kingdom Come Deliverance. Let's see. Some great story-based games. Plasma pistols for shields and ghosts. Right. You had weapons that were in their own niche without any bloat. Assault rifle for suppression and melee combat. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Good to get the spice of life. Normal pistol, your DMR weapon. All right. Makes sense in hindsight. That does make sense in hindsight. I'll need to get to make more live streams of other games at some point. I should get started with Kingdom Come Deliverance because the sequel's going to be coming out, so it'd be good to get people's attention. That makes no sense, but it works. Yeah, I've heard that your normal pistol is the most overpowered weapon in Halo 1, and speedrunners have kept using the pistol because there's so many bullets, and each bullet is surprisingly powerful. There's some videos online that make fun of the fact that the pistol is overpowered. Like, there's this one YouTuber who's made these amazing edits of like Master Chief in Star Wars movies. And there's one video where like Master Chief takes the place of Luke Skywalker at the climax of The Last Jedi. He's like going about stuff, and then Kylo Ren bombards Master Chief with all the blasts, and then says hold it fire. But then of course Master Chief survives because he put down the bubble shield in time, and then Master Chief puts out a Halo Combat Evolved pistol and says, "My turn." One shot and the whole armada explodes. Let's see if I can find that video actually. Master Chief versus Kylo Ren. I think that has to be the one. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah. All right. I think that added a 0 to the damage on accident. You're welcome, by the way. I'm probably gonna have to leave the live stream soon and get on with some chores in the house, but it really has been a lot of fun talking to you all, reciting Burns poetry to you all, being a Scotsman and all. Obviously, I'm not the most popular YouTuber, but I'm grateful to have over 1K subscribers, and in my eyes, if I have at least 1K subscribers, I guess that's popular enough. Especially given the kind of people I affiliate with. My friend Brooks from Squid Bear's Personal Productions has also gotten over 1K subscribers lately. My friend Malika has also gotten over 1K subscribers, and there's two friends of mine who are very close to getting over 1K subscribers. I guess that's popular enough in my eyes. So I guess if you feel like these conversations on these live streams have been very productive for your life, then I consider that a great blessing from my part and for you as well. So if that's been the case for you, please feel free to share that around. And hopefully I'll get on with live streams in regards to games like Kenshai and Kingdom Come Deliverance, especially given that the sequels are going to be coming out. So I might just get started with maybe that tonight, maybe. Well, go help Yog Sothoth with the dishes and the in the void. Yeah, that's a good place to end up. Don't worry, I've got Christ by my side. We'll face the void together. Peace. Scott Saker signing out, and then I end it there.